I am going to call to order the special meeting of Darien Police Commission, 2409th. First order of business after the call to order is acceptance of minutes of April 14th. Can I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't even have to raise my hand. I can actually say aye now because we're not on Zoom. I'm used to. Oh, I'll be happy to ditch all those old ways. All right, correspondence?
Just in your packet, we have a Guardian tracking entry. Guardian tracking is our internal software that we track both complaints and commendations for officers. And we have one that's a commendation that I wanted to bring to the Commission's attention. You know, many times people ask what our police officers are doing out there on the road, right? You may not be seeing cops and robbers stuff, and you may not be making the front page, but I'm going to read this. This was put in by Sergeant Scombros for Officer Edwin Vigil. So I'll read it for the record. On 4/19/2021, Officer Vigil received a card from a local Darien family regarding a medical episode that was occurring in our parking lot. The resident was apparently having a heart attack and was transported from our parking lot to the hospital. While the resident was being transported, his 4-year-old son was here with him. He was on his way to daycare in town. The resident's wife was not able to be reached at the time, so Officer Vigil offered to take the young man to daycare. Father agreed to that. The young man then sent Officer Vigil a card showing a diagram of the actual trip in the police car that he had that day to get home, or to get to daycare. He also sent Officer Vigil a copy of his favorite book so Officer Vigil could read the book to his kids. So the family expressed that they were beyond appreciative of the way Officer Vigil handled the situation. This is what your police department is doing. That it's not heralded, and you know they're not looking for any kind of front page story, but this is what our officers are often doing out there unheralded. So I want to give Officer Vigil kudos for his assistance and thank Sergeant Scombros for bringing it to the attention of the chief and the commission.
I do appreciate it. That's a great story and hopefully a happy outcome all the way around. Department activity, Captain?
Yep, this is from the period of April 13th to yesterday, April 28th. On April 13th, Tokenique Road business was burglarized during the early morning hours. On April 14th, a 53-year-old Bronx, New York woman was arrested for forgery and criminal impersonation when she tried to fraudulently withdraw funds from a local financial institution. On April 16th, catalytic converters were stolen from 2 vehicles that were parked at a Camp Avenue business. On April 16th, a 53-year-old Darien woman was arrested for her role in a domestic violence incident. On April 17th, a 60-year-old Reading man was arrested for his role in a domestic violence incident that occurred at a residence in Darien. And this next one is just an update. We report our unlocked motor vehicle burglaries and stolen cars pretty regularly here, so this is just an example of some of the work that our investigative unit is doing. During the overnight hours on August 3rd, 2020, 2 unlocked vehicles with the keys in it were stolen from a Hollow Tree Ridge Road residence. 1 vehicle was recovered abandoned on I-95 and a 2nd vehicle was recovered in West Haven. While processing the stolen vehicle recovered in West Haven, Darien Police Detective Elizabeth DiOrio recovered a fingerprint on the rearview mirror. The fingerprint was submitted to the State of Connecticut Forensic Science Lab for analysis. In recent weeks, we were informed by the forensic lab that based on the fingerprint evidence, a suspect in the incident was identified as a male juvenile from West Haven. An arrest warrant for the suspect was applied for and granted, and on April 23rd, Detective DiOrio met with the juvenile and his parent and executed the warrant. Good work by Detective DiOrio. On April 24th, a 51-year-old Darien man was arrested for violation of restraining order. Over the past 2 weeks, we had 3 dog bite incidents involving minor injuries. 2 were on the properties that the dogs belong to, and 1 involved a roaming dog. Since April 1st, the Patrol Division and Traffic Division have, I'm sorry, that's April 13th, that should be. Since April 13th, the Patrol Division and Traffic Division have conducted 95 traffic stops in numerous areas of town that we've received speeding complaints on. During the same period, 14 overnight burglaries of unlocked cars, 1 stolen car which was left unlocked with the keys in it, and 1 attempted stolen vehicle which was locked. And then again, in the same time period, we had 13 motor vehicle accidents, 3 of which involved minor injuries. And I do have a note here that one of those was a pedestrian-involved accident, but I apologize, I don't have any further information on it. That is it.
And Chief, you met with some residents, I think, last night as well, right, about some of the stolen car activity, which is good.
I did. I actually met with the RTM District 2 group on Zoom on unlocked car burglaries and stolen cars. We had a very productive discussion on the current status of state statute and our investigative steps on this. They're going to move forward at the RTM level, I guess, in the different districts to see what more we can do. We have talked about doing a public service type announcement that can run on Channel 79, you know, before or after gripping meetings that people are watching on Channel 79. It's just something that keeps coming up in our queue list that we just haven't done yet, but I do fully intend on doing that. I know we sound perhaps like a broken record month after month about unlocked cars, but as Captain Marin says, all these cars are again unlocked. And how to best address it, there is some statutory language and up to the legislature right now trying to perhaps change the laws and put a little more teeth into juveniles taking these cars and entering these cars. We'll see how much traction that gets in the legislative session. As you see, we do make arrests on juveniles on a regular basis. If we either catch them in the act or catch them ex post facto, but we do, you know, catch them. So in the back end, in the judicial system, I think there needs to be a little more teeth to try to get this from happening. But it was a very good discussion with the RTM. I look forward to working with the different districts to do whatever we can. One question that they did ask, they asked if we could prepare for them a report. In our course of our discussion, they asked if this was specific to certain areas of town or whether it was specific to only roads that come in from other towns or on town, you know, the town lines. And the true answer is it's virtually every street in Darien. So they asked if we could compile a list of stolen cars and unlocked car burglaries over the last 3 years with the list of the streets that were involved. I have no aversion to giving them that and supplying that. But the folks that might be watching on TV, they can also go on our website. We have our crime mapping software that people in real time, virtually real time, can go on and see where crime is occurring, not just here in Darien, but in Stanford and the surrounding area. And you can, it's broken down by type of criminal activity. So that information is there, but I am going to provide that to the RTM District 2 folks who asked for it. I'll provide that to the commission as well.
Any other questions about department activity? Moving on to old business, COVID-19 update.
Well, the update that I would like to have is that we don't have COVID-19 update on our agenda for too many more months, so we are
I think
still-
we're heading there.
We are still COVID-free here in the police department. Our maintenance staff is still doing a crack job making sure that our building is clean. I think the majority of our staff has been vaccinated, and we have nothing really new to report on the COVID front.
Excellent. Building issues update.
We are in the process of having the new fire protection system installed downstairs. So the tanks are in, the electricians were here twice this week, and then we just have the final hookup, and then we should be ready to go with that. So that was a project that was delayed because of COVID, but so we should be up and running with that soon. As far as the building, the HVAC, we're still working on some tweaks. I was talking to Tony Campanella today. He's still trying to set up the meeting with Automated Logic. Hopefully that's going to be happening in the next week or so. And
We assume that we've gone from kind of the winter weather into the summer AC. It should be
right, there's
smooth
just a little bit of tweaking.
as we go to AC.
It's the litmus test when we change them from winter
Yeah,
to
no, it's
spring and,
usually-
and fall into winter. That's
Okay.
when the things crop up, so this will kind of be a good test.
The fob project is about 98% done. All the new readers are installed. They've all been disseminated to everybody, officers and civilians.
And the police.
And the police commission. So that looks like a success, and that's it for the building, I think.
Excellent. Update on body worn camera program.
We are coming to the close of our 5-year contract with Axon, which I believe the commission is aware of. We fully intend on executing a new 5-year contract with Axon. Of course, like anything that is software-based, there is some increase in prices, but the Axon system, when we take stock of all of our computer-based systems, has pretty much run like a Swiss watch. There's very few issues with the Axon system and the cloud-based for our video. One big upgrade is that the Axon Signal sidearm, which the commission remembers was funded. We started purchasing the units and found out that they couldn't guarantee that they would work with the holsters. That issue has been resolved. With this new contract, Axon Signal sidearm is included in the actual full package. So when you see an increase in price, some of that is the Axon Signal sidearm. Clearly, this is something that is beyond best practice. It activates your body camera if you withdraw your firearm from your holster without any input from the operator involved. That's a slam dunker in my mind for transparency and accountability. So they assured us now they have the mounts and the equipment that will fit our holsters, and we should be able to get that shortly after July 1st budget cycle. That we will be getting that going. I think in the next, hopefully 90 days, that we can have that done and rolling them out.
Are you aware of any other departments in Connecticut even that has done that yet, or?
There is no department that I'm aware of in Connecticut that has Axon Signal up and running. The holster that we use is pretty ubiquitous. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the platform of firearm we use and the holster we use is standard police issue. So I think Axon, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but you think that we'd want to have that, up and running for this platform, which now they have assured us that they have.
Yeah, was a swing and a miss on their part, I think. It's not, well, it's nice that it's been fixed. All right, so we need nothing from us.
I will get that proposal to the police commission before we send it to the town hall to actually execute the contract, but I want the police commission to see it first.
I would like to see it. Okay. Update on Marine Division annual startup. 'Tis the season.
Yep, the boating season rapidly approaching for our area here. Our Marine Division officers have begun scheduling some of our usual springtime maintenance. If it's anything like last year, the boating season started even a little earlier than normal because people had nothing else to do, so they took to the water. So we may be putting out some press releases regarding cold water safety, that type of thing. We, as you all know, we have put in for a proposal for the new motors to be outfitted and control system to be outfitted on our vessel. That'll happen at the end of this boating season. So we're going to hopefully get our current motors through this season unscathed and move forward. We did promote one of our former Marine Division members to, not promote, but he's been appointed as a detective, Detective Vigil. So we have initiated a process to replace him on the staff. And so far, 3 officers had put in for their position. We've conducted the application process, interview process, and now we're just in the selection phase. So that should probably occur this coming week.
When do you start, assuming, I don't know, the season is roughly like last year, when do we start hours on the water and
Typically,
weekends mostly to start?
Typically, right around Memorial Day is when we start staffing this, the boat regularly. Last year, we started, I think, 2 weeks earlier. We're probably looking to have a similar start date too. I just need to discuss with the supervision of the Marine Division there to lock that down.
Probably weather
I
dependent
would
as
assume it
well.
will be another fairly busy boating season.
Even without COVID, now everyone has boats. But obviously weather dependent as well, but all right, well, good to know spring is here. Update on division presentations at future meetings.
Well, as a request from the commission that we're trying to get back on track now that we're going to be hopefully a post-COVID world, to be bringing some of our police officers and other staff members that staff specialized units to come give a presentation before the police commission, kind of as a rotating basis for, a couple different reasons, for the commission to see them and hear what they do firsthand, and also for Channel 79 to be able to see who's staffing our specialized divisions and what we do, why we do it, and why we don't do certain things. I think it would be beneficial, as always, for the public and the commission to hear firsthand from the people that are doing it, why they do what they do and when they do it and how they do it. So we will schedule that, and the commission can let me know who they want at any particular meeting, and we will get a representative from that organization, that division, to come and give a short presentation to the commission.
No, I think that would be, it's been a long year in Zoom meetings. Nice to reconnect with everybody, which also, Coffee with a Cop, is that back up and running?
That came up this morning. I will defer to Captain Marin.
Yeah, Officer Silva is kind of our liaison with the Coffee with a Cop program. We've noticed that some other area agencies have begun that program, it's resuming slowly again. So I contacted her today, or actually she reached out inquiring as to whether or not we could start that up again, which I thought was great of her. So she's going to take the reins again and start looking for some venues to hold some of those events. My only recommendation at this point, maybe the first couple, or at least the first one, we kind of target an outside venue, which it seems like other police departments are doing.
Well, certainly as we're coming to summer, we can target a lot of outside venues to
Yeah.
start with, just to,
It's historically, as you know, been received very well, so we're looking forward to get it back up and running.
excellent.
It's been quite some time since we've had an open house here at the police department. I think I'm on track for potentially having an open house, COVID notwithstanding, maybe in the early fall. By then, we'll probably be in a much better position, but that's an event that's always well received. We like to show off what we have here and what we do, so I would be looking for maybe, September, that we target an open house here at the police department.
Chief,
Usually
we
well
opened
within-
up fingerprinting and car seat installs.
When was it reopened?
We have.
Yes, we
We have.
have, and that was a few months back, so we are in full swing with both of those initiatives.
Excellent. Well, it'll be nice to get back to some sense of normalcy. All right, new business, traffic issues,
Traffic issue.
Memorial Day Parade update.
Well, we've gone back a little bit with Terry Gaffney, who kind of spearheads the Memorial Day Parade. He does a fantastic job making the logistics of a parade work. As most folks know, a Memorial Day Parade, it just doesn't happen, right? There's a lot of moving parts, especially here in the police department. We typically have to hire back substantial staff to provide security and traffic management at that parade. Both Captain Shredders and Captain Marin do a good job on that as well. There still is a potential for a Memorial Day Parade here in Darien. Right now, they're describing to me that May 10th is really the go, no-go date.
Oh, all right, we have until then.
If it's a go, we're going to have to keep some balls in the air and do some juggling, because we have to get a state permit to use US 1. And our trustee assistant Jan says typically we do that in March, and it usually takes a few weeks to get that permit back. So if on May 10th, if we find that we are having a Memorial Day Parade utilizing US 1, I'm going to have to do some fancy footwork with the state to get a permit expedited. So that's, May 10th will be our next update of whether or not we're having a Memorial Day Parade or not. Even in the event we do not have a parade, we will still have a ceremony across in the Veterans Cemetery like we did last year. So
Can
Can
we,
you not just apply
Yes.
and cancel it if it gets canceled?
we've never been in this position. I guess tomorrow I can call, at least ask that question.
Is there a cost associated with the application?
No,
I might get it out there,
Yeah, just cancel it.
see if,
give it a shot. Jan's the point person on that. She can arm wrestle and probably get one done and probably, quicker. All right, so
well,
that's
that's
Memorial Day
interesting.
Parade.
All right, so I assume that Terry, we can assume we can get the manpower from Art, but we can
Yeah.
materialize a parade.
And there's still questions as to, amount of people and distancing and masks, no masks, and
Well, after May 19th, I'm not sure there is
Right.
there? We're outside and, I don't know.
nobody really knows, at least to my knowledge, can we have a Memorial Day Parade where everyone is shoulder to shoulder? I don't know. So we will find that out. Memorial Day
I
Parade
will
is,
keep my sneakers.
obviously,
handy.
it's something that, you know, it is something we have always done, it's something that people look forward to, and it's something that is deserving. And, you know, it is a kind of a weird time if you don't have a Memorial Day Parade. It's just like canceling the Fourth of July. It's just a strange circumstance.
I agree.
So I'm hopeful that we can have a Memorial Day Parade.
Okay, well, I assume it will not be through this venue. If it's a go, people will hear about it in lots of different places, so we will wait to hear. Interesting. Potential for implementation of the UAV drone program.
I think this has been discussed at police commission meetings in the past. We had put out feelers with our officers to see if there was someone interested in becoming a UAV certified officer at that time, and I think it was before I was the chief. There wasn't any interest. We do have an officer now, Officer Tim Budd, who's interested in staffing that position. We're one of the few agencies that really doesn't have any type of UAV capability. And this kind of repercolated a couple weeks ago with our new traffic pattern that we have on the Roten Avenue, with the restriping around Ledge Road and Heights Road, where the engineers said that that traffic pattern there now, as part of the Heights development, was the way to go. So we'd really like to have an aerial overview with a drone flying, you know, slowly from the Norotan Heights Fire Department straight down that corridor, where we could show the public exactly what the changes were as a PSA, so they could get used to having both of those lanes going straight. For the last 30 years, you've had to turn left from one of them. We're still working on getting some assistance with someone to give us some drone footage there, but I think it would be a worthwhile endeavor, and we would be probably looking to come back to the commission for funding for a drone. We try to get out of the drone verbiage, because it's just, people think it's something that it's not, the UAV, but they're not inexpensive to get a commercial level professional UAV. But I think it would be a worthwhile endeavor when we have someone that's a new officer that will be here for many, many years. It's used in accident reconstruction, it's used in missing persons. There are some agencies in California, at least one that's the leader in UAV technology, that they have two drone operators on duty in all hours of daylight, and they actually dispatch UAVs to calls for service because they get there quicker than the officer, and they can report back what is going on. So if they get a call from a liquor store that 3 or 4 kids are hanging out in front of the liquor store and someone calls the police, they send the UAV, and the thing gets there, and they can actually on a loudspeaker communicate with the kids or find out if there's somebody still there. If the people have moved on and they're not there anymore, they don't dispatch an officer. And it's all done through UAV technology. And the UAVs are pretty smart. They know when they're running out of battery, so when they have only 15 minutes of battery life out, they come home whether they're done or not. And this is whether we like it or not. This is the new reality, a new technology that I'd like to stay at least on the curve, if not ahead of the curve with. So,
And we have had other needs for it in the past 6 months. What comes to mind, first off, is a missing person investigation that we were doing. The Norwalk Police Department was...
Is this the Weburn one?
Yeah, in the area we learned.
Yeah.
The Norwalk Police Department sent their drone team over, and their drone has a capability for thermal imaging, so we were hoping that could assist. Fortunately, that case worked out, but like I said, there are lots of different applications we could use it for.
I was going to ask that question about thermal imaging. I know you guys were looking for somebody in one of the parks not all that long ago, in the woods, and maybe that would have come in handy in that
Sure.
situation as well.
Chief, is there an opportunity to not only use it for the police department, I'm sure there's applications for fire department, particularly with the FLIR technology, I'm sure buildings, I'm sure emergency management when it comes to down trees and damage assessments, those type of things.
you know where I stand on interagency cooperation, right? If the town of Darien purchased the UAV and other agencies had UAV certified operators, yes, I see no downside to having that used with any other town agency that would have a use for it. It's probably a very good idea.
Well, good, okay. Request from the false alarm account.
Well, this is kind of a new one, right? This one I didn't have a lot of time to percolate here, but we did get it on for today, at least for the consideration of the police commission. As you know, we kind of got behind the 8 ball with new police cars because Ford shut down and we're not making police cars for quite some time during the pandemic. They switched to some of their factories to personal protective gear and things like that. So we're still now, do we have all our last year's cars, Bob, that came in?
The 2020s are all set.
So we're caught up from last fiscal year.
So
Our
it's-
current fiscal year cars are not yet here. And now we're going to be ordering new cars after July 1st. And this comes back to the GTAC tablets that we're putting in our new car. The commission remembers we're switching from MDTs, hardwired computers in the car, to a tablet-based system that the officer now can take out of the car, can take statements on it, and the big thing for me is he or she can take photographs with that device rather than using digital cameras and bringing in cards and giving them to the Detective Bureau for processing. They can take the pictures and there's capability that they download right from your car, right to the database where it needs to be, and it's cataloged and collated with the call number that you're on. Again, we're using equipment now, the MDTs, and I just found out a little while ago, speaking to TJ Moore, who's our IT guru and does all this stuff. Our current MDTs only run on Windows 7, and they cannot be upgraded. So they are out of warranty, the hardware is out of warranty, but the software that they can run on, he's telling me, cannot run on Windows 10, which is the standard now that we operate with in the building on all our systems and on these GTAC tablets that we have in our 4 new cars. The rub here is we're going to get 3 new police cars in fiscal '22 that we've already asked for budget funds for new tablets. So that would give us 7 cars with the new tablets.
That's already been budgeted.
That's been budgeted for next, it's the current year's cars that are coming in this fiscal year that we didn't budget for GTAC tablets. We can put the MDTs, the existing MDTs back in the car, but then to take them out and retrofit tablets at some point in the next 3 years is going to be a prohibitive cost expenditure. They're wired in different, these tablets are wired in much easier than our current MDT system. Remember, our MDT system just doesn't run the MDT. It runs the in-car cameras, it runs, pretty much the brains of the car. I think it would be beneficial, and this is the request potentially from the alarm fund. Again, this is something that we didn't really foresee coming, but because of COVID and setting us back in
And the vehicle.
replacement schedule, would it be beneficial to, instead of having 7 cars with the new system, we would have 10 cars with the same exact system? I see a benefit for that. I think that would be, our marked car fleet would be equipped under this with the new GTAC tablet. That would be our standard. We wouldn't be running on 2 different platforms. So,
We would have 9. Right now, there's 3 tablets in service. We would, if this was approved, we'd have 3 more, and then 3 the following year. 3 after
That are already
this July
budgeted
1st, which is already budgeted for. So we'd have
I think
9.
it's better for the officers as well, not going back and forth between systems.
Oh,
Obviously more
seems
well,
efficient, so,
if you've got a car that's equipped with the tablet where you can take a picture, and then the next night you're in a car, we try to streamline operations, right? We try to be as automated as we can to have everything the same, so you don't have to think about how things work. And the fact that Windows 7 is no longer supported and it can't be upgraded, most of our software
That sounds
for
like
security
that.
purposes has to run on Windows 10. Everyone here knows how it works in the computer industry, right? You're never going to stay stagnant, you're going to keep moving forward, and you have to upgrade eventually, because, Windows 7 is vulnerable to bugs and hacking. So, it's a consideration. There's a thing that in your folder from TJ Moore, who's usually on point when it comes to the technical aspects of why we have to do what we have to do.
So Chief, that's 5,000 for soup to nuts, that's the hardware, the mount, and the installation into the vehicle,
That would be a total expenditure to get them in on the road and running.
times 3?
No, 5,000 per car.
4th,
Yeah, so 15,000 for 3 cars would be the
5,000
ask.
times 3, yeah,
Right.
okay.
Not an inexpensive proposition, I understand.
No issues from that side.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. It's efficient. I think we should use the alarm fund for that as well.
Yeah, I think anything we can do in our world of technology to move ourselves forward. Everybody knows, even in their own personal life, working on the Windows 7 when everyone's on 10 and things start to, that's just not a scenario where we want to be.
I couldn't provide you with an exact figure for an R&R on an existing car to put in a new system, but I can tell you it would be more than half of the expenditure to take out an existing MDT and reinstall a new, if you're not starting from scratch. These cars, when you see them at the outfitter, they're basically disassembling a lot of the car to get this done properly. You get there and you wonder how they're
No.
going to get it back together, but they know what they're doing.
That seems like spending good money after bad things.
I'm sure there's not a great user experience to the officer in the car that has had one of those things removed, because you can't remove those holes sometimes, right? It's not a great.
Horrible things. Old technology is just not worth spending money on.
Okay.
So I will make a motion that we approve, I assume it's $15,000, not listed here, but
Yep, it's on the, it's actually on the proposal.
times 3. For the new tablet, for the new tablet-based system for the new police vehicles, which are the 2021 vehicles, correct?
Yes.
The 3 2021 vehicles. You get that, Jan? Okay. Did you
Thank
guys
you.
get, did you get that motion?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We are in a special meeting, so we've come to the end of our agenda. Anything else before we go into executive session for retirements, staff assignments, and the promotion process?
I have nothing further.
We will not be taking any votes or coming back into session, so why don't we talk about our next meeting, and then we will, wow, we have a fancy calendar now. What happened to our COVID ate our little calendar?
That was in mine. I don't know if I ever got one or not, but that's what Jan gave me. She
All
knows
right.
I'm analog in a digital world.
No, that works for me. It's an upgrade. We are here on the 29th. Can we go to the 20th to be a regularly scheduled meeting? Does that work for everybody?
I have nothing pressing that would not work for me.
No, I see on your calendar here, you're free.
On the week of the 6th for our next meeting, I will be in Virginia attending the graduation of my son-in-law from his master's program.
Well, that's a
You
good
use
reason
this
to
to
be
talk
out.
about technology for calendar, right, Chief?
I'm talking about this.
I've got his calendar right
Yeah,
here,
that's
you know
what
what I mean?
And this.
There you go,
No
there you
batter- No batteries required.
So we would not meet this 6th.
You could certainly meet on the 6th, and Captain Marin can sit in
That
my
is,
seat.
that is 7 days from now. I think that is
I think it's Friday.
unlikely that we need to meet in 7 days. So
To
the 20th, does that,
Yeah, unless something pops up, the 20th works, yeah.
Yep.
all right, why don't we say the 20th? Here, yay, at 4 o'clock. All right, with that, we are adjourned.